In our previous discussions, our only interest was correcting angles. But in this discussion, we will now consider correcting the values of the lines. So in our field notes, what was given in the previous discussion were only the bearings. That's why we only corrected also the angles. But in your actual work, those bearings will come together with the distances of the lines, and using those distances will be crucial in solving the area of the lot. However, due to measurement errors, the distances given and the bearings will not essentially form a closed traverse. So correcting those distances and bearings will be our interest for today. And once those are corrected, we can now solve the area appropriately. In adjusting a traverse, we're going to use two methods for the correction: the compass rule and the transit rule. Although these methods produce slightly different correction values, the discrepancy is usually negligible, and the difference lies in their assumptions. The compass rule assumes that both distance and angle measurements contain comparable random errors, while the transit rule assumes that angle measurements are more precise than distance measurements. So we will see how each method will be applied. Before applying any traverse adjustment method, we first compute the latitude and departure of each traverse line. Latitude is the north-south component of a line, while departure is the east-west component. These are obtained by resolving each measured line into its rectangular components using the line's length and bearing. So this is similar to the component of forces in statics. And we will later realize that the correction is just the value of the resultant if we relate it to statics. If the traverse closes perfectly, the algebraic sums of the latitudes and departures should each be 0. So we will be able to check that later. So let's say we have this line and we are given the bearing angle. Recall that the bearing angle is always measured from the north to south line. So measured from the vertical axis. Now what you have to remember here is when we talk about departure, it is along the x-axis. And when we talk about the latitude, it is along the y-axis. So the vertical distance. Now considering the figure shown, we can use trigonometry to derive the formula for the length of the departure and latitude, provided that the length of the line is given. So we denote the length of the line as L. To determine the departure and latitude, we can use either cosine or sine functions. If we use the cosine function, cosine beta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. The adjacent side to the reference angle is the latitude, the vertical distance, and the hypotenuse is the actual length of the line. Therefore, the latitude will be equal to the length multiplied by cosine beta. Now for the departure, we will use sine since the departure is opposite to the reference angle. So sine of beta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. The opposite side is the departure, while the hypotenuse is the length. So expressing the departure in terms of L, we have departure is equal to L sine beta. But take note that these formulas don't have to be memorized since you can just obtain this using trigonometry. But this will be helpful in our calculation so that essentially we are automating some part of it. So again, we have two correction methods. The compass rule assumes that both the distance and angle measurements have comparable random errors. Because of this, the total closure error is distributed in proportion to the length of each traverse line, and so it means that longer lines would receive larger corrections, while shorter lines would receive smaller corrections. And our formula here just comes from ratio and proportion. So for example, the distance d here is the distance of the line of interest, a specific line, and d is the total distance, which is basically the perimeter. So we relate the total distance to the total closure in latitude or the total closure in departure. And at the top, we relate small d by the correction to be applied to the latitude and departure of any course. So small c sub l is the correction of a specific line, capital C sub L is the total error. Essentially, this is what we first solve. And again, small d is the distance of a specific line, while capital D is the total distance or perimeter of the traverse. So simplifying, we multiply capital C sub L or capital C sub D to the right side of the equation, and we come up with the formulas on the left side. Now for the departures, we simply change the subscripts. Now we also have what we call relative precision. Relative precision tells us how good the survey is compared to the total distance traveled. It is expressed as a ratio of 1 to some number. The larger this number is, the more precise the traverse, because it means the error is very small compared to the total distance surveyed. Now again, we compute the correction because when we have a close traverse, it will not always necessarily close. So for example, we form these lines during our survey. Due to the imperfections of the instrument and human error, we don't really form a closed figure. And we can see it after checking our field notes. If we draw the lines and bearings accordingly, then it won't form a closed polygon. So that distance or that gap from the end point of the last line and the starting point of the first line would actually be the linear error of closure. If we find out the value of this linear error of closure, we can use ratio and proportion to again adjust the sides. And once the sides are adjusted, we can now form a closed traverse. So we will try to model this in AutoCAD so that you can actually see the figure. So we start at A, which is due north. The line AB is due north, which means we have a straight line going upward. And the distance is equal to 400 meters. So we snap to the vertical line and input 400. So this would be line AB. By the way, STAOCC means station occupied and STAOBS means station observed. So we will draw each line. Line AB is due north, so we have this figure. Our second line has a bearing of north 45 degrees east. So we draw a line and we move 45 degrees from north going right. And that would be our line BC. For our third line, the bearing is south 60 degrees east. So we start from south, move 60 degrees toward east, and that would be line CD. Then for line DE, our bearing is south 20 degrees west. So we start from south, move 20 degrees toward the left. That would be our fourth line. And that distance is equal to 600. We will model that later. Finally, for our last line, the bearing is south 86 degrees 59 minutes west, and the distance is equal to 966.34. And this line will connect back to point A, so we denote this line as EA. Now let me include the lengths just to improve clarity. So we have 400, 800, 700, 600, and 966.34 for the last line. Now going back to AutoCAD, we input the distances and bearings. We now continue with line BC. So BC is 800 meters, and with respect to the horizontal, the complementary angle of 45 degrees is also 45 degrees. So we add this line right here, 800 meters, then press tab to input the angle. We have 45 degrees. Then our next line is 700 meters. From the horizontal, we move 30 degrees clockwise. So we need to input that in AutoCAD as a negative value, or we need to move our mouse down so that we can indicate that it is located southeast. So 700, press tab, then we input 30. Then our next line is 600 meters, and the inclination from the horizontal axis is 90 plus 20. That would be 110 if we move from the positive x-axis. Then finally, line EA measures 966.34 meters, And our angle from the negative x-axis would be 90 minus 86, 86 degrees 59 minutes. Or we can start from the positive x-axis. We just add 90 and 86. So to input this in AutoCAD, after typing the first number which is in degrees, input D and input the next number, then use the apostrophe symbol. It will indicate that it would be in minutes. But again, we add 90 to this value. So this is now our figure. If we try to zoom in, we can actually see that there is a gap between point A and point E. So we have this certain gap right here. And again, in our introduction, this is the linear error of closure, and this is what we want to correct, essentially, using the two methods. So this line will connect point A and point E, the starting point of the first line and the ending point of the last line. So it's basically just the resultant if we relate it to statics and the component of forces. So we have taken a screenshot of the figure and we will trace it in Microsoft OneNote. So the gap here is the linear error of misclosure, and we also define our points. Now as to the angles, we only write the interior angles after we solve the corrected bearings. But we will switch this up a bit. We will solve the adjusted distances and bearings using both the transit rule and the compass rule. Now we will solve LEC first using the conventional method. Although later I'll be showing you the calculator technique which we will also use for resultants. So what we have to do first is calculate the departures and latitudes of our lines. Now to compute the total closure in latitude, we sum up all of the north latitudes and south latitudes. And for the total closure in departure, we sum up the east departures and the west departures, considering the signs. So north will be upward, south will be downward. We will use a negative sign for south. And for east, we will use positive. For west, we will use negative. That's why we need to remember that we will be using the algebraic signs. So we will now be filling up our columns here. We have the departure column and the latitude column. Now we know that line AB is due north, which is purely a vertical line. So it won't have any component on the departure. Since it is purely vertical, the distance 400 meters would already be the latitude. And since it is due north, we will use a positive sign. Now for our next line, the bearing is north 45 degrees east and the distance is equal to 800 meters. So calculating the departure, we have 800 sine 45. And calculating the latitude, we have 800 cosine 45. And since a 45-degree right triangle would have the same legs, both of these would be equal, the departure and the latitude. And north, east, both of them are on the positive side, positive x and positive y. So both will have positive signs. If we look at line BC, it is located on the first quadrant. Now how about for the next line? For line CD, it is located on the fourth quadrant. Its component will be to the south and going to the east. So the departure would be positive and the latitude would be negative. So solving the departure, we have 700 sine 60. And for the latitude, just replace sine by cosine, we have 350. Then for line DE, the location is on the third quadrant, negative x and negative y. So both the departure and the latitude would have a negative sign. And computing the departure, we would have 600 sine 20. And for the latitude, we have 600 cosine 20. Now for the last line, this is still located on the third quadrant. Both departure and latitude would be negative. So our departure would be 966.34 sine of the bearing angle, which gives us 965. And using cosine, we can obtain the latitude. Now, if we sum up the column values, then we can determine the total corrections in departure and latitude. Of course, considering the signs. We have already indicated the signs for each of them. So adding all of the values, we come up with CD and CL. So notice that the sum of the departures and latitudes do not equal 0. So that's how we can tell that the traverse will not actually close. So in correcting the lines, the departures and latitudes, our goal is to make the correction 0. So we can check later using our corrected bearings and lines. If we sum up the new departures and latitudes, they would equal 0. Now both CD and CL are positive. So if we draw our triangle, LEC will just be the hypotenuse and the legs would be CD and CL. So we can compute LEC by using the Pythagorean theorem. So since CD and CL are positive, the direction of LEC would be upward and to the right. So it would follow this direction. And to compute the angle, we just take the arctangent of CL and CD and we can obtain the angle from the horizontal. So in AutoCAD, we can check the value of this line, the line that connects point A and point E. We have approximately 1.97. Solving the hypotenuse of this triangle, square root of departure squared plus latitude squared, we can obtain the same value, 1.971. Now, for the sake of discussion, we will also solve this angle, the direction of LEC, with respect to the positive horizontal axis. Or, the horizontal axis. So we take tangent theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Opposite to the reference angle is CL, which is 1.014. And our adjacent side is CD, which is 1.69. So the angle is equal to 30.98. So we can also check it sa AutoCAD. We can measure this angle. We have 31 degrees, approximately 30.98. Now since we have solved the value of the linear error of closure, we will now resolve using the complex mode in our calculator. This is actually our calculator technique for these types of problems. So we need to go to complex mode, and the syntax here would be we input the distance, then angle symbol. After the angle symbol, we input the value of the angle from the positive horizontal axis. If we move counterclockwise going to the line, we will use a positive sign. And if we move clockwise going to the line of interest, then we will use a negative sign. So we will start with line AB. Line AB is directed upward. From the positive x-axis, we move 90 degrees going to line AB. So we input it as 400, angle symbol. Just press the integral sign. And we input 90 degrees. Going to line AB, we move counterclockwise. So we use a positive sign. For our next line, the distance is equal to 800 meters. And we move counterclockwise going to line BC. So the angle would be positive 45. Next, for line CD, the distance is 700 and the angle from the positive horizontal axis is 30 degrees and we will move clockwise going to line CD. So we will use a negative sign since the rotation is clockwise. And for line DE, the distance is 600 and the angle from the positive horizontal axis would be 90 plus 20 degrees. We move in a clockwise direction, so we will still use a negative sign. Finally, for line EA, the distance is 966.34 and the angle from the horizontal would be 90 degrees plus 86 degrees 59 minutes. Now after pressing equals, you can obtain the components. 1.69 here would be the error in departure, and 1.0148 would be the error in latitude. So just press the right key, CL will have a coefficient of I. So that's how we can automatically calculate CD and CL. Capital CD and capital CL. And if you want to obtain the linear error of closure and the angle, just press ups. Then after pressing ups, we press 1, R angle theta. R is essentially the resultant. So we have 1.971. That is the linear error of closure. And the angle is 30.98. With respect, of course, to the horizontal. So in our next video, we will use the total errors to correct the magnitudes of the distances. And let's try to model that figure to see if the traverse will already close. So the sum of the columns are expected to be 0, and we will first discuss the compass rule.